Wednesday, February 19th. Welcome to the channel. I'm Joey, only Caribou Weather Dude. Yeah, hit like, share, subscribe. So I want to tell you something about this channel as I'm always telling you the truth, okay? I have this condition. It's like part of my mental illness. It's about being a pathologically honest person, okay? So it's like I can't lie easily. It's not something I've ever been able to do or enjoy. I've always preferred to rationalize. You can't trick me with lies easily. I can see through lying people very easily. Truth is very, very important to me. I'm trying here to be honest. I'm trying to give you my honest assessment of things. I'm trying to tell you to be careful, trying to tell you to look out, trying to give you advice, trying to help you navigate through this life, especially when you're out in the outdoors. Okay. I'm trying to warn you about disasters of all kinds, human, man-made, everything, weather, natural, you name it. Anyways, so we made a number of videos on this channel over the last couple weeks talking about avalanche conditions, how they weren't bad, but incidents kept continuing to happen. We kept talking about how eventually somebody was going to die this year in the mountains. We look at all these different events, all these different incidents, and say, well, there isn't the snowpack there really, but still incidents keep happening. People need to be aware that it's still not really safe out there. And here we go. On Monday, we had an avalanche incident with a fatality, and now we got more snow piling on. So you know that the avalanche conditions are going to start to deteriorate pretty fast over the next little while here in the province. So we have the risk of more avalanche incidents. So I need to get the message out to you all to do everything you can to practice avalanche safety. Okay, it's the show. Let's go.
There it is. This is bad news.
My God.
I'll watch the video later. Paint dry mop in this.
So snowfall has started. Particularly, we have heavy precip in the Prince George and in the Caribou regions. So we have right now this heavy band of snow, Punch Isle, Black Isle Water, Cinema, 10 Mile Lake, seeing some heavy snow. Just the road between Quesnel and Nasco, seeing some heavy snow. Some of the heavier snow still in the Prince George region, down the Black Water area, out to Vanderhoof, getting a little bit of snow. Snow on the 97 highway, probably quite treacherous to drive. I wouldn't suggest you go on the 97 right now. And that continues, maybe not quite to McLeod Lake, but certainly from Bear Lake on down to McAllister. The snow is pretty heavy, even a little bit falling at Williams Lake right now. So some snowfall into the central interior right now. We do have a little bit going on in the south, but so far not a whole lot down there. Okay, we see, what do we got here? A little bit of precip down around in the mountains to the west of Vernon, right? So just a little bit of flurries in the south right now. Nothing as cohesive or organized as we just saw into the north there. So we'll talk about that avalanche incident in a minute. Just going to dig in a little bit deeper here on the precip in the Caribou. We've still got those extreme cold warnings across the prairies. That should be ending probably by tomorrow, most of them, I would think, right? And now we did have wind warnings on Vancouver Island. That continues until noon today. Some wind warnings, so 80 to 100 kilometer an hour winds. And Vancouver area rainfall warning now for you, 50 to 70 millimeters of accumulation. So we don't have snowfall warnings for these interior storms. That doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be nasty for driving out there, right? So, keep in mind that a snowfall warning is a specific criteria, which means a specific amount of snow is going to happen in a specific time. And if it's beneath that criteria level, you may not get the snowfall warning. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that travel is advisable, as it appears it probably is not right now on the 97 highway. So winds gusting 70 to 90 as you get up towards areas to the north of the Sunshine Coast up there. And like I say, extreme cold all throughout the rest of the prairies. And last word before we get to that avalanche fatality, let's have a look right now at the record-breaking temperatures, because we've been looking at that for the last couple of days. Some extreme temperatures in the prairies there, although nothing quite as bad as it's been. But still, for Coronation, Alberta, bad enough, 38.5. They've been keeping records there since 1912, so over 100 years, and they still broke that record by over 2 degrees. Tied the record in Milk River, 29.4. Isn't that fun when you're like suffering? It's like, it's so cold, and it's like, well, we didn't even break the old record. We just tied the old one. Ugh. Stony Plain, 32.4, just nudging its old one. And we do have a couple in Nunavut, and this is insane. So while that's going on, while you have these extreme cold warnings bringing 38.5 down to Coronation, Alberta, you go up to Nunavut into the Arctic, and you're seeing records of 8.6. So new high records, new daily high records. So it's the warmest it's ever been on yesterday in Nunavut. And it's the coldest it's ever been yesterday in parts of Alberta. So just to put into context, like, well, where's your climate change now? Well, that's where it is, right? So the cold air that's sitting on you down in Alberta had to come from fucking somewhere. And where it came from is Nunavut and places like that, right? So it came from the Arctic. And what do we got in Quebec there? Still a bunch of snowfall totals that are absolutely ridiculous. Saskatchewan. Oh, boy, look at these. Some more bitter colds there. 39.2 in Assiniboia, 31.2 in Broadview, 41... 39.2, 41.2, 41.1 in Coronach, Elbow area at 40.8, Estevan at just 40. So lots of places hitting 40. 45 at Last Mountain Sanctuary. Holy shit, man. Indian Head at 41.5, Lucky Lake 37.6, 42.7 in Meadow Lake, 42.5. I mean, these are insanely cold. Saskatoon hitting 40 Celsius below, Rosetown hitting 40.7 Celsius below, Watrous 42.4 Celsius below, Weyburn 39.4, Winnard 40.5. Absolutely fucking brutal. Absolute suffering. I'm incredibly sorry for all of you that have to endure this insanity. The good news for us here in BC is it's getting warmer. It's getting warmer fast. In fact, let's go have a look at the Diggy's Diner weather station I got here and have a look how this month has played out so far. I'm just watching the pressure dropping fast. Now we're down to 998.98 hectopascals. That low pressure moving in. We got snowfall coming into BC. Well, it's even starting to lightly snow in Wells right now. Very wonderfully. Minus 1.8 Celsius. And why that is very, very interesting to me is because we hit 17.2 below last night. So in the middle of the night, we were this cold, and at 3 a.m. we started to warm up. By 6 a.m. we were getting to minus 4.9 sort of area. By 9 a.m. now we're firmly into these just sub-zero temperatures. Won't be too long today before we're hovering right around zero. So that's really nice. We'll go to monthly mode for a second here, and I was just having lunch at Diggy's Diner yesterday. Love everybody there. So you just look at this month. We've gone from a record high of 5. Well, not a record, I should say, but a high of 5 and minus 32.8. Right? So that's what we've been looking at this month. We're looking at the cold trend here. And this is what you'll notice. As we started the month, minus 10 would be often the warmest we'd get, maybe just a little bit better than some days, though. We've been seeing the power of the sun becoming more powerful as we get a little bit further in the month. The sun's getting hot. It's getting hot. The angle's getting higher. We're getting a little bit more warm. So we're seeing a bigger stretch. We're seeing a little bit warmer afternoons, but also you're seeing the bottom temperature coming up there. So we're seeing a gradual climb from that nastiness we were at on February the 5th of Wednesday. Wednesday the 5th, like 2 weeks ago. So here's Fatality we just had on Monday. Unnecessary. Hate reporting on this stuff. Every day trying to warn you, trying to tell you, trying to give you the heads up on when weather's going to change, on when the things will be less safe out there. And there's only so much we can do. We got through most of a winter before we had a fatality in the mountains in BC, and I think that's wonderful. I mean, part of that's the snowpack. Some of that may be improving awareness, and I'm not saying that in past years where there was a bunch of deaths there wasn't improving awareness. It's just that if you keep rolling the dice and the dice have a weight on one side, they're going to fall eventually on one side. And so it's people having more preventative behaviors, more knowledge, using the Avalanche network more, having more training on how to test the snow. That is leading to less incidents in the mountains. Okay, so where is Capristo Mountain? Capristo Mountain being just south of Golden on the Alberta side. I mean, it's still BC, but it's the Alberta side there of the Rocky Mountains. So there's your Columbia River, Golden, and whatnot. So this just gives you a little bit of an idea. This is definitely a wilderness area. I've been on maybe not those mountains, but I've been on some a little further down here. The first skier in a group of 2 triggered a wind slab avalanche. I'm really, really sorry to everybody who's involved in this, by the way. I'm sorry to everybody in the family. I'm sorry to the other person that was there. I'm sorry for the search and rescue technicians and everybody that took part, the first responders, because it's always a terrible, terrible situation when we have to witness this, deal with this, exist with this, feel these things that happen. So at 2,280 meters, the first skier triggered a wind slab avalanche near the top of the slope. The slab depth was an average of 20 centimeters with a maximum of 40 and was 30 meters wide. The avalanche funneled into a gully and ran 990 meters in length. The subject was located near the toe of the avalanche, 120 centimeters below the surface. So what this sort of shouts out to me, we'll have a look at the picture here. Unfortunately, we can't enlarge them. What this shouts out to me is that this is a case where this avalanche, it seems to me, mirrors a few of the other ones we had in the fact that it didn't start out very deep. It didn't start out very deep, and it wasn't very large, actually. It was an average of 20 centimeters, maximum 40 centimeters, right? And then we have like the 30-meter wide. So we're not talking like this big avalanche, but what this one was able to do, it sounds like, was run an entire kilometer down the mountain. So it had unbridled access to gravitational help. That was able to do make this avalanche propagate itself for a long, long time. So by the time we got down to the very, very bottom of that skier was unfortunately transported in this avalanche right from the top right to the bottom. And in that case, they were able to find themselves buried under increasing amounts of snow that kept accumulating as the avalanche went down the hill. So it started off as a very small avalanche. And we were talking about this kind of thing, saying, it's just a matter of time before someone gets smashed into a rock or smashed into a tree in one of these small avalanches. This is a scenario we didn't quite think of. We did talk about cornice failure, where people could be standing on a cornice, like our captain from the Horsefly Fire Department had happened to him a number of years ago. There's that, but this is an example of someone just getting transported a long distance. This is an example we didn't quite give. Didn't come to my mind when I was giving all those examples like last week or whatever on avalanche safety in BC. So we got snowfall coming now. Snowfall's happening. And I really want my friends to understand that you're going to go playing this weekend, that the risk is going to start climbing up really, really quickly now. And even though we're not going to see that yet today too much when we look at anywhere but the South Coast, where the South Coast is considerable, moderate, considerable. So they see some change there. But even since we made this one last week, we had the Fatality, and we've had these 2 incidents now too. Avalanche burial at the back of Boulder Creek. Avalanche burial. I mean, that sounds terrible. It sounds absolutely terrible. So let's find out what happens Sunday, February 16th. You have to click the little button here. This it will help you. It took me a long time to learn this. If you hit this little button here, Avalanche Canada will take you to the place you want to go. I found this site very frustrating at times. So where are we? Okay, we're in the northwest is where we are. Total in the group 1, 2 people involved. We plan to go up to in the East Boulder Creek at the usual spot, 880 meters, but the coverage through the trees seemed unnavigable with the current snowpack, so we continued 12 kilometers up the Boulder Creek Trail to the back. We found excellent snow in the sparse trees, but continued higher. There was evidence of small slab avalanche, size 1 to 2, that slid possibly in the last week or sooner. As we climbed higher, the snow conditions deteriorated. As we approached a minor concavity, bouncing around here. As we approached a minor concavity, where did it go? We beneath us began the snow beneath us began to crack and break. So we tried to hug the looker's left wall. We were walking over to it. The skier higher up felt the snowpack release. The skier higher up was to looker's right, and both were facing looker's left. I don't know what that means, looker's left. Slab released 25 meters above the top skier with convexity, shooting 100 meters across. At the same time, the skier up was swept downhill. Skier B was able to move 4 to 6 meters to the side before skier B was caught in the avalanche as well. Skier A carried 100 meters down slope, released the ski poles, but was swept into a position where they were traveling head first and fighting to keep their head above the snowpack. As the snowpack slowed down, skier A was able to raise their head and one arm above the debris while the rest of their body was locked in position below the snowpack. Skier B was carried roughly 50 meters down the avalanche, but not buried. Skier B was able to ski skier A and help dig him out. It's tough to estimate the crown size, but it looks variable on the crown horizon. Would be estimated to be 20 centimeters on average, with a much deeper section to looker's left. The slide length was approximately 350 meters long, and the buried skier was roughly 150 meters deep from the top. There's a lot of learning just for us from this incident. We succumbed to a commitment bias by just wanting to get past that one risky section when we should have considered the evidence in front of us. The snow was much better down in the trees, and we would have had a much better day down there anyways. We also did not want to tell anybody where we were. All in all, we got incredibly lucky to come away from this avalanche alive, from the technical burial. I keep hitting things by accident, but they had a close call, and they went and played. They knew they were pushing the boundaries. They thought, well, the conditions haven't been bad. So there's no reason we can't take some risks now because the conditions are this is as good as they're going to get, right? And unfortunately, no. Even then, you got caught, and something terrible could have happened. And in one case this week over by Golden, someone got killed. Just this last look on satellite, you can see things have finally calmed down for everybody down in Ontario. A large storm up the American seaboard there in the Gulf of Mexico. A little bit of snowfall down there in the Rockies on the U.S. side. A little bit of snowfall in the Prince George Caribou region. And you can see where this heavier low is sitting there off the coast of Vancouver. My head is in the way, so that doesn't do you any good. What am I doing? There you go. And then you got that low just sitting there on Vancouver Island. A little bit of precip there in the interior. A little bit of snow down through Idaho and through the North Rockies, and nice looking storm there on the U.S. coast. That's what's happening today. We'll come back at you in a couple hours from now, but trying to do my best to tell you the truth, and I've been just getting punished by people because it's like you have to realize I'm a guy who's like incapable of behaving the way you expect people to behave. Like I live up in the mountains, and I'm a mountain man, and I'm a freak, and I'm a fucking artist, and I'm incapable of acting the way you want me to act, saying the things, and it's like shit just comes out of my mouth, and it's like I lost a couple subscribers yesterday for saying it's as cold in Alberta as Danielle Smith's heart. Well, if you can't handle that kind of shit, go away anyways, But anyways, if you can, thank you very much for everybody who can, because look, we have a lot of people who keep me going here, like Gerd Erasmus, for example. He keeps me going all the time. Really, really stoked on that. We got some people there from who give a little bit of PayPal here and there, like Sandra Dean. Can't appreciate you enough what you do for me, right? Somebody who dropped $100 in for a super the other day. Unbelievable. Wendy, Sherry Lynn Laporte, Julie Scott, thank you very much for helping so much. Barb Kentner, Della Davidson, you've been helping. Gwendolyn Manning, you've been keeping me going so far. These are the people this month who've given me a new Patreon member, KM, Caitlin, Kate. Thank you very much. You are, really what's keeping this going right now, because when you think about how many subscribers I keep losing every day if I just don't be like, this is the clouds. Look up, everyone. Don't look to the bullshit on Earth. This is the clouds right now. And I'm just not capable of doing that. I'm honestly disturbed by the planet right now, and I can't help but just say what. So if you can't find that entertaining, then sorry. See you later. Goodbye. We don't, we'll get on without you, because people are supporting the channel still, and I can't do it without you. And if you weren't supporting me, then maybe I'd have a different attitude about it. But yeah, that's what you're going to get here on the show. Thanks, everybody, for coming around, being part of my channel so much. Appreciate it very, 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 very much. And yeah, I can't really help who I am. It's what you get here. Okay, everybody, we'll talk with you some more in a little bit. Bye now.